Hey y'all. So welcome to Queen No Matter What. I am your host, Jacobia, aka Yakube. It's honestly the same name, y'all. It's just a breakdown. Get into it. Tap in. Tap in. So welcome to my first episode. And I'm just glad that y'all are tuning in. I hope that y'all like and subscribe and definitely come into the community with an open mind. Because that's all we here for, okay? Open-minded, intellectual conversations, okay? Very open conversations, no judgment, okay? So tonight's episode is just to introduce us. So who is Queen No Matter What? What is it? Where did it come from? All that, okay? So it is an abbreviation for Queen No Matter What. That doesn't mean that I am only targeting women, but it is a safe place for a woman, okay? For a queen to come and be uplifted, all right? It is also for the men, though, that are growing within themselves and understanding that they deserve a queen in their life. But how do you know you have one? Okay? Tap in. Tap in. This is what we're here for. You definitely deserve, as a king, you definitely deserve a queen in your corner, not a peasant. It's definitely a difference. But how do you know? Okay, so that's definitely what we'll be discussing here on Queen No Matter What. So first things first, what inspired Queen No Matter What? A lot of people want to know, so I'm here to tell you. What inspired Queen No Matter What is honestly when my journey started, when I moved from Indianapolis, Indiana to Dallas, Texas. I've been in Dallas, Texas now for almost 5 years. I moved here May of 2020. All right, so how did I get here? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. So, I have a daughter that is about to be 10 years old. So when we moved here, she had just turned 5, and it was just me and her. I had just been laid off from my job. I was working at a Lowe's call center, and I had just gotten laid off in January of 2020. That was pandemic time. So yes, I was laid off, and I also had went through a bad breakup. Okay, about a month after I lost my job, y'all. But it's crazy because 2 weeks after I lost my job, my driver's license got reinstated, and we know what that means. With driver's license and the pandemic happening, they needed Door Dashers, Instacart, shoppers, all that, right? So I went for the Instacart, okay? So I applied for Instacart, got hired, of course. With my driver's license and insurance and stuff being good, it was easy to get in, So boom, easily I'm making money, cause I lost one job and guess what? I still had to what? Queen, no matter what. Okay, let's clock it. So yes, I started doing Instacart, but the thing is, it was very hectic at the beginning of trying to do Instacart because I had went through that breakup and I didn't have a car. Guess whose car I was in? His. And during the breakup, of course, he don't want me in his car. We barely wanted to live under the same roof still. And at this time, we were still living together. It was me, him, and my daughter that were living together. So he didn't want me using his car or whatever. But like I said, this all happened in January. So we already know what time was coming. And I had a kid. Dependents, they come in handy, don't they? Tax time. So with that tax money, y'all, February, I was able to buy me a truck. I ended up purchasing me a GMC Acadia. Anybody that know what a GMC Acadia is? Big mama, okay? Very spacious. It was nice. Very, very much bigger than my ex's car. So with Instacart, I was definitely able to shop and organize my my customer stuff and stuff. So I was definitely in the goods. Okay, and it was purple, y'all. Anybody that know me know I'm obsessed with purple. So it was a sign. You see the purple light? It was a sign, y'all, that it was mine. It was for me. It was the perfect purple, royal purple that I love. And so I did. Boom. I didn't care about nothing else. Us women already don't look under the hood. I had my daddy do that part, and then he almost got cussed out for taking too long to go with me. But y'all, I purchased my truck. And with that, I was able to start, making my money. Okay, so from there, I started making money. In March 2020, though, our lease was up. So my ex was, of course, moving out. I was about to move out. I wouldn't have to stay there and pay them bills. I got a kid to take care of. So I knew I was going to be finding us somewhere else to live. But at that time, I didn't know where to live, I had to figure out how much I was going to be making a month just so I could see and make sure I could afford a place, you know, things like that. So, yep, the lease was up, so we had to get up out of there. So crazy things happened, and I ended up arrested. I got arrested, y'all, in March of 2020. I got arrested. I had gotten arrested on a Friday, and I couldn't do anything until Monday. Okay, so with me being arrested, you know, me having a child, anybody know CPS gonna be involved if a child's involved. So CPS was contacted, and they placed my daughter with my mother. I was blessed to be able to know that my child was able to go with my mother, not no strangers. So that made me feel a little bit better. But anybody that know me know that me and my mom, we never really had a healthy relationship. She was not happy that I got arrested. It was my first arrest ever. Okay. But it was, yeah, she didn't help. She really wasn't supportive. But I was still grateful that my child was able to be with my mom instead of a stranger. So yeah. While in my mom's custody and me being arrested, she was definitely enjoying having advantage and having temporary custody of my daughter. Therefore, I got arrested on Friday, but I was released also that same night. Okay, I was also released that same night. And my mom wouldn't let me come to her house. I couldn't see my daughter. I couldn't talk to my daughter. I wanted to make sure my daughter was okay. She wouldn't let me talk to her. She talking about CPS said I could not have no contact with my child, like I abused my child or something. I was so confused, y'all. But my mom was definitely taking advantage of that. So yeah, I was arrested on Friday. I couldn't go to court to get my daughter back until Monday. So again, I was devastated on not having my daughter. Because that's one thing I do love doing. I love being a mother. I love being a mother, okay? I've always knew I wanted to be a mom when I was little. So yeah, I was very emotional with that, but I still had to clean no matter what. I couldn't drown in my sorrow. I couldn't drown in no depression or anything like that, right? I had to get my stuff together to get my daughter back. I knew I had to get us a place. I knew I had to get my truck out of the tow from when I got arrested. Like I had to stay focused, you know what I'm saying? So with me and my mom not having a healthy relationship, we definitely were going at it with each other. You know, I'm cussing her out, all type of things. You know, I was very, very heartbroken that she was trying to keep me from my daughter all that weekend. It was literally just a weekend, y'all, but it felt like centuries. So with me not being able to be at my mom's with my daughter, I ended up staying with my dad. I went to my daddy's house and stayed at his house. When I got arrested, I was a doggy mom too. Like they took my dogs to the vet, or you know, the animal control. I had pit bulls. So pit bulls is like black folks. They treat them so wrong. They were talking about they were gonna lay them down if I didn't come and get them. So I had to get the money to go get my dogs, y'all. I had to do so much in so little time. So I ended up getting my dogs out of the pound. But my daddy wasn't going for it. No dogs was allowed at his house. Like he wasn't doing it, y'all. So I had my dogs sleeping in my truck. I laid them a whole bed out in the back, put the seats down. They were comfortable, you know. But what? I can't have my dogs living in the truck, right? So I ended up contacting my ex that we were, you know, we had broke up, but I ended up contacting him. He took the puppy. He took my grandpup, you know, and took him in. And so he was like, I'll take him, but I ain't taking Patches. So, and that's the dad. Patches was crazy, y'all. He couldn't be around everybody. And my dad like, mother can't be in here and all this. So I kept him in the truck. And my daddy left and went somewhere, and I ended up sneaking my dog to the backyard, to his backyard. But to get to his backyard, we had to go through the house. So he was definitely heated when he came home. I was sneaking, but wasn't sneaky enough to where Pat just put his paw on the back door, and it was dirty. His paw a little dirty, so it left a print on the door. And that's how my dad even found out that I let him in the house to get him through the back door. So, of course, he blew up all type of bees and disrespectful heifers and all of this and that. And, you know, I had enough of it. Like, my dad was never really a father to me, so I did not understand why he was talking to me like that. You know, you don't want to disrespect your parents, but when it's the parent that really wasn't doing no parenting, nigga, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? So I ended up blowing up at him because I'm already going through so much at once. Where's the support? You ain't supporting me all this time, nigga. This is the time. You know what I'm saying? So so I did. I had some words from my dad, y'all. So yes, we ended up getting into it. And y'all, I'm making sure I stay in order, y'all. So yeah, we ended up getting into it, and he like, you know what, you can get out of my house, and don't come back. Okay, in my head, I'm just like, no, what kind of daddy does that? You already didn't help my mom raise me. You know what I'm saying? You didn't help raise me. You ain't never really been a dad, you know, as I grew up, in no way. You know, I had a daddy that wanted to be my friend instead of my dad. And so I did. I blew up on him. So he did. He told me to get out and don't come back, all type of things. And so and it's like knowing my situation, you know, my living was my living situation. I didn't moved out of my place. I was in a fight with my ex. I beat him up. Definitely beat him up. He ain't do nothing to me. He got beat up. But the fact that your daughter is going through this, and then I was arrested, having CPS in my business, trying to keep my daughter from me, going at it with my mom, you know, you would think this would be the time that he tries to be there for his kid, but no, he's very selfish. Still to this day, he's very selfish. But that's another story. You know, and my mom down to me and trying to keep my daughter away from me, trying to take her away from me. I truly had no support, y'all. I didn't have no support. Me and my sister at the time weren't talking. Like, we weren't talking at all. And so it was just very, very heavy. Okay. It was a lot. So, you know, anybody that knows how CPS works, they have to contact the other parent. So my daughter's dad ended up being contacted, let him know what's going on. He, at the time, already lived here in Dallas, Texas. He was here for about 2 years before all this happened. And my daughter had a relationship with him. They talked every day, all that. Okay. And so I was thugging, y'all. I was out here thugging. It was just me in Indianapolis. That's how I felt. It was just me. I had my few friends, but it was just me. And so, anybody that knows how CPS is, they contact the other parent, questioning my parenting and how he feel about my parenting, and seeing if he could come and get his child and all this and that. But by Monday, of course, I had presented myself. I laid out who I am, all that, and I was able to get my daughter back. So once he knew that my daughter was back in my custody, and, you know, she got on the phone with him, and she's crying and wanting her daddy, but of course she don't want to leave mommy and things like that. He's like, so you lost your job, Jacoby? I'm like, yeah, I got laid off. He's like, you ain't well boy no more. I'm like, nah, I ain't with him no more. He's like, but you did get your car. It's like, yep, I got my truck. I got my own truck. You know, and I purchased it cash, so I ain't have to worry about no car note or nothing, just insurance. He was like, why don't you move here? There's so many opportunities here, Jacoby. Like, and you a businesswoman. I know what you're capable of. And that way, Majesty can have both parents. You know what I'm saying? My baby miss me. I miss her. You know, I can have her with me. You know what I'm saying? She can come to the house. She can be with me and his girlfriend. His girlfriend was on the video call with us. She's like, yeah, mommy, you come on. Y'all come on. Like, come this way. So it's just amazing and crazy how I didn't have support from my mom. I didn't have support from my dad. Nobody was supporting. Nobody was supportive, except for my daughter's daddy and his girlfriend. They like, come here. You can make you some money here. And anytime that you do an Instacart shopping, baby, I bet more people are here to where you'll get more money here. So they were definitely selling it. It was sounding real good, okay, y'all. So I definitely prayed on it. And baby, we was gone the next month. All that happened in April, the beginning of May 2020. I packed my truck up with all her belongings, y'all. Everything my daughter owned, I packed up. And I left with one suitcase. And I drove us 17 hours to Fort Worth, Texas, from Indianapolis, Indiana, in my good old truck. I made sure the oil was changed, made sure we had a tune-up, some new tires, baby. Music was flowing. I was making money with Instacart. I was making about 200 to 250 a day starting off. So I had money to make. I had money I was making. And on top of that, I was sitting on my 401k from my previous job. So we definitely wasn't broke. I just had to figure it out. And that is queening, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you go through, you still have things to handle. You still got things to take care of. You still got people depending on you. So it's like I can't sit in this depression. I can't sit in this sorrow. I can't sit and feel bad or feel sorry for myself. I have to figure it out. And that's what I did. And God's been there with me through it all, y'all. So yes, May of 2020, we was out of here. And when my mom and my dad found out that I was moving to Texas, they were going ballistic, mainly my mom. She's moving my granddaughter to across the world and about to be around strangers. Strangers is all in the world. But she was literally talking about my daughter's daddy. I was confused on how he was a stranger when we got a whole child together. But anyway, that was just her dramaticness. And I moved here. I didn't have a job lined up. I just had Instacart. I didn't know where we was gonna live. But because we weren't broke, so I was able to book us an Airbnb for a whole month. But we got here at like 2:30 a.m. in the morning, y'all. I pulled up in Fort Worth, Texas, about 2:30 a.m. So I couldn't even get us into the Airbnb until like 3 p.m. the next day. That was check-in. So I had to go get us a hotel. We had to stay there. But we had a good old time. We enjoyed our first day here. The second day, her daddy came. After he got off work, he came, got her. They went shopping. Her and the girlfriend went to go get their nails redone. I mean, she had a great time, okay? It was definitely a blessing moving here, y'all. It was truly a blessing moving here. And so many different people I met, I've networked with, I've introduced to my business, and they support it. Like that's the